Hey golf people, I've got a super special set of clubs. They are the brand new JPX 923 Hot Metals from Mizuno. So pumped about these clubs. Probably the last big release of the year from a major manufacturer, and these could not be any more beautiful. But how do they play? We're gonna find out today. We are not at Carrollwood Country Club this time. We're at Killarney Golf and Fishing Club in Ireland. I want to give a big shout out to the guys at mygolfgrouptravel.com who booked an incredible tour for me and Patrick out here. And what a place to test these things. We're going to play 9 holes. I'm going to talk you through everything I see. Over under today is going to be plus or minus 3, and this is a very difficult course, so these clubs are going to have to perform really well to make that happen. So one thing about these new irons is Mizuno has done the exact thing I wanted them to do. They've just made it a tiny bit stronger, but they've been able to move some weight around, so you're still getting a nice high launch out of these things. I've got an extremely difficult shot here. It's not gonna be long, but it's gonna be a tough pin position because we're actually playing some tournament pins here today. I've got 123. I'm gonna take out my pitching wedge here and see if we can, I'm really just gonna play for the middle of the green. I don't think I can challenge where this flag is on the far right because I've got all kinds of water over there. Gotta say that was a pretty terrible strike, but we do have a green in regulation thanks to being a pretty forgiving club there. I hit about 3/4 of the ball. We'll do better here as we progress, but let's see if we can make a couple putts to start. Now I have the Pro version of the 923 Hot Metals here. The Pro version is just gonna give you a little smaller look at address and slightly less offset as well. However, the lofts are basically going to be the same on these clubs. I've got a long putt here and kind of a treacherous one, but let's see if we can 2-putt this one in. Catch that hill right, might be pretty good. Oh, boy, that went right over the left edge. All right, par to start. Now, a lot of you are gonna ask about feel on these clubs. The feel of these clubs is definitely improved, in my opinion, over the last model of these clubs, the JPX 921s. These 923s have just a little bit better feel, and it's due to Mizuno being able to make the face of these clubs 18% thinner. That's actually huge if you think about it. The technology of their chromalloy material has really enhanced what they can do. It makes the top line a little thinner, but it gives you a little bit better feel as well. Fade, baby, come on. It stops rolling. Now, Patrick here is actually a really good golfer. If you don't know Pat from this show, he's a scratch golfer. Pat's gonna take a few shots with these clubs as well, just to give you an idea of what a player can do with these things. All right, actually hit that through the fairway, but it's gonna give us a chance to kind of test this out for a couple things. Obviously being in the rough, pretty good lie here. Pretty good lie, really nothing to worry about, but maybe what's to worry about here is this little overhang. So my normal shot here is a draw anyways, but probably gonna have to just exaggerate that a little bit more. And we've got a pin, again, tucked in the back left, so you really don't wanna go long here. Again, I'm gonna kind of aim for the middle of the green with a little draw, hopefully get a little roll out here in our Irish greens. Let's see how far we've got to the pin. I've got 132, I'm gonna go 9-iron here. Now I've been testing this out for a little bit, and I can hit this probably as long as 145 even, but wanting to keep this trajectory a little bit low with a little bit more hook on it, we're gonna take just a little bit more club than we need. Ooh, it's a very aggressive line actually. Middle of the green, we're getting our roll. We're heading towards the pin. We've got another birdie putt. Tell you what, cut right through the rough. Nice that I can control the trajectory. That's the good thing about the Pro version. You're gonna have a little bit more control, a little bit better feel, I think, as well. You can see it as I'm walking up here. The lake behind us just makes this an absolutely glorious setting. We're playing kind of near dusk. There's a little wind in the air, but it's not horrible, and it's actually been a really nice break from the links golf we've been playing. Hope you check out those videos at Lahinch, at Tralee, at Ballybunion, Trump Doonbeg, and some of Ireland's most famous links courses in the southwest. This has been a really nice break. I've got a really nice putt. Let's make it. Now these are harder greens. This is my pitch mark. We probably rolled out, oh, I'd say a good 18 feet there. And with these forward press clubs, you're gonna get a little more roll. Just in my early testing of these clubs, I haven't seen an incredible amount of spin out of them. That's gonna be the trade-off when you get the stronger lofts. But as long as you know what's coming, you can adjust accordingly. Oh yes, that's a birdie. We're 1 under, we're heading to 3. A really nice par 3, let's do it. Boy, a picturesque setting. We've got 173 to a frontish pin. We're gonna try to go 6, I think. Let's try to push the distance here, see if we can get there with the 6. Looking down at the 6 iron, you do see just a little bit of the backside of this club. So 7, 8, 9, pitching wedge, and of course gap wedge, you're not gonna see anything. We're gonna talk a little bit more about that gap wedge in just a little bit here. But with the 6.54 irons, you're gonna see just a tad of that backside, guys. Let's see if we put a good swing on her. We didn't. We didn't. That's wet. We're reloading. And that one looks plenty long, but I've pulled it. So we've got a chip here. Well, I've short-sighted myself, so a 5 is even gonna be a little bit of work here, guys. We don't have a whole lot of room to miss, but boy, what a view. Missed my landing spot. Okay, that's the dangers of short-siding yourself, guys. This putt is for double. Ugh. Okay, well, all of a sudden we went from 1 under to 2 over. That's how quick it can change in golf. We're heading to 4, guys. Let's see if we can hit these irons just a little bit better this time now, huh? All right, 4th hole here, also along this beautiful lake, and it's gonna give me a chance to take an iron off the tee, which very rarely happens at my home course, Carrollwood, so this is kind of a treat. 220 is about max before the water cuts in. We're gonna go 4 iron to see how far this thing goes. That's a good looking swing. Now we're gonna get a little bit more rollout on these fast and firm conditions, but let's measure this shot and see how far it went exactly. All right, well, what I did is I sent Patrick up here and then he shot back the rangefinder at me, and he tells me that this was 213, by far the longest 4 iron I've hit, maybe ever, but certainly this year. Now, mind you, I am in much drier conditions here in Ireland, much faster and firm conditions, but boy, these things have some pop to them. How far do we got, Pat? 136, pin again, just brutal, vicious. I played this hole earlier this morning, so I'm gonna go for almost the middle of the green. There's just a little bit of a ramp that I can possibly catch, and it'll feed down to that pin if we hit the right shot here. We're gonna go 9 iron. That's the line I wanted. If it's enough club, I don't think I caught the ridge, but I'll take it. Certainly if you want more of a forged feel, or if you just don't want those really strong lofts, you're gonna do better if you go with the forged versions of these clubs when they come out. But right now we've got the Hot Metal and the Hot Metal Pros. And for me, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. Here's my pitch mark here. We're gonna walk this one off. 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, about 21 feet there. We got a pretty good crack at birdie, probably about the same distance. You know what? This view is so good, I'm actually gonna show it to you from behind here. Broke off more than I thought it was gonna. All right, guys, we'll take a par there. We're heading to 5. So if you're coming off the JPX 921s, there's gonna be just a little bit more pop here, and that's gonna be due to these clubs being just a little bit stronger as well. Oh, yes. That's the aggressive line. All right, I've got 191 playing into a super, super stiff breeze here, guys. You know, we're gonna try to give it a go here with the 4 iron, but I'm gonna try to hit a fade shot too, which is gonna hurt distance a little bit. So this is gonna be a little dicey. Probably not the best play, but we're testing these irons. We gotta test them to the limit. Really good contact. It's fading a little bit, and at least we missed in a really good place. We avoided the bunkers. God, that felt really good for a 4 iron. These clubs, Very easy to get up in the air. That's the great thing about the JPX line. It's going to be much more forgiving than even the Mizuno 225s, 223s. Well, guys, I gotta say, I did not think I could even reach this green, and I'm actually past it. For all of you that watch the show, that never happens. Absolutely never happens. These things have some serious pop, but now I'm in a really tough position. I got a little green to work with. We're gonna have to go 58 degrees here and see if we can pop this one up. Let's see if I learned anything from Mickelson. Bite. Tough place to be for par, but this is a very tough hole. I really like to drain it though. Turn. Ah! Okay, that's a bogey. That's a bogey, and all of a sudden we're +3. That par 3 really came back to bite me. But we're going to another par 3. It's gonna be a little shorter. I like it a little better. I think we can get a little tighter. Let's do it. Short par 3 here. Gonna be a birdie opportunity, and it's a good opportunity to pull out this club here. This is the gap wedge, and you can see it's just a little different than the pitching wedge. In fact, they've created a whole new line of wedges for this JPX 923 family. We're gonna put it to the test right here. We've got 113, but we're downwind. Normally gap wedge is about a 110 club for me, so we're gonna be pushing it. Pins in the front. Gonna have to hit it well, but let's see what this thing can do. So here's the pitching wedge above. Now you can see the gap wedge in this set. There's really no cavity. And in terms of the top line, it's also going to be a little thinner top line as well. So since you don't need the forgiveness when you get up to gap wedge, honestly, I like to see them do it even with the pitching wedge and possibly even the 9-iron, but at least with that gap wedge, you're gonna have a nice, confident look over at address, much thinner line. Let's see if we can knock it tight. Oh, that's very high. I don't think it's gonna get there. It did get there. Wow, it had some serious spin on it. Just push it out to the right there, but good feel. Even though that's about where I hit it, more towards the toe, but very forgiving club. Well guys, I'm really happy with the distance on that gap wedge. Again, having the wind behind me didn't hurt, but still just as long as my normal 50-degree wedge, at least I'd say. And I really like the trajectory, nice and high. If you saw the spin, I'm not sure if our camera picked it up, but here's where we landed. We bounced forward and then came back down a little bit there. So really happy with the spin there. Now we've got to make a birdie, get ourselves back into contention here. Should come down, I don't know, I'm gonna give it about a cup outside the right there. And I didn't hit it. If I hit it, it was in. But we'll par, we're heading to 7. Okay, all right, here we are, right in the middle of the fairway here. We've got a long way home though. Par 5. 220, not gonna be able to get there. What I'm gonna do is hit that 5-iron and let's see if we can get into wedge range again. Oh, that's perfect. I'm really impressed with how easy it is to hit these long irons. Generally, it's gonna be the hardest irons to hit. Right now, everything just feeling buttery smooth. The length, incredible. I think if I hit 4-iron, I probably would have got there. I'm only about 35 yards out, 40 max. Gotta knock one tight. Now my normal shot here would be a 58-degree wedge, kind of right at it. But being as we are in Ireland, it's only fitting I take the gap wedge from this set and try to hit a little bump and run. Let's see if we can pull it off. That's pretty good, guys. We got the flat stick on our hands. We got another birdie putt. I'm not complaining right now. Come on. Oh! I thought that was in. Boy, we've had some good looks today. They're just not dropping. What I really like about these clubs is, even though they're maybe geared as somewhere in between a player's iron and a hybrid iron, I think it sits in a really good spot for a lot of golfers. Certainly if you need a little distance, you need some control, but you still want that workability. The workability is at a premium, probably the best I've ever seen in a game improvement type iron. Like I said, this is kind of in between. Pat, what do you think looking at these irons?
They honestly look, I don't mind the look of them. They're definitely not like players irons, but they're like playersy enough that you don't think they're going to come off like, you know, like a cannonball.
Right. Mind you, Pat plays the T100S from Titleist, clearly a player's iron. So it'll be interesting here to see what Pat does. He's got a 4-iron in his hand. Let's see what he does, and he'll give us his feedback here.
I mean, I didn't strike it pure, but it came out pretty good still.
It had a nice, like, rising.
I don't mind that flight. Like, 4-iron off the tee, I want that to come out a little more penetrating. And for a miss hit, it didn't feel like my hands aren't stinging.
Right.
Like they would with mine.
Of course, there you go. That's the forgiveness for a player that can be welcomed as well. All right, let's see what we can do here. And that's perfect. Okay, let's knock one tight, guys. Well, Pat's 4-iron went, I don't know, only 15 yards less than my driver. Just shows you what a guy can do, can really hit the ball. He's gonna take one more shot with these things just to see. Pat, what do you got for distance there?
Well, it's 122.
You wanna go gap wedge or pitching wedge?
I kind of, you know, I might just chip a P wedge.
Yeah,
just
easy
see how
P.
that goes.
There it is. Boy, that's a nice looking trajectory. Hits the green, takes a hop, and woo! Got some nice spin on that, man. What do you think?
Actually, it's like off the right. It's not hurting, but that ripped up pretty good. Like one bounce, big spin. I think the number's pretty good, so I'm pretty happy with that.
All right, guys, this is one I really like the looks of. Finally, kind of one that favors my draw a little bit over this little stream. Let's see if we can knock one tight. What we got, Pat? 13. That's going to be good for the gap wedge again. Pins in the back, so don't want to go long. I think this should be the number. Wind is pretty good all of a sudden, right to left. Just put it out there like I did before, a little far to the right, but got some nice spin again. Well, hey, we've got a birdie putt, and we've had quite a few of those today, guys. Can't complain when you got a putter in your hand and you're hitting greens. Here's where Pat ended up. Great shot. I'm quite a bit longer. It's gonna be a tough 2-putt. I'll take that. Okay. Hey, we're right on the number. We're heading to our last hole here. Par passes the test. Bogey won't quite cut it. And it's not where I want to be. All right, while we're walking up, let me tell you who I think these clubs are best suited for. Really, I think it's for a swath of the population, because as Pat mentioned, a player can use these. I am right now a 4.8 handicap. I think these clubs would be pretty perfect for me. I'm not really a sweet ball striker, but even your better ball strikers like Pat here are gonna be able to play these clubs. And it's gonna be super forgiving, especially if you go with the regular hot metal version. These are the pro versions. If you've got that little bit more offset, this becomes a really good club for you 10 to 20 handicappers. So really anywhere from like 5 to 20, these clubs are gonna fill a really nice role. Okay guys, I'm a little right of where I wanted to be, but I've actually got a good lie here in the rough. We've got 151. The only thing in my way is that tree. Uh-oh. I felt pretty confident until I actually pulled the club back. Ay, now we've got to get up and down. Oh boy, guys, this is gonna be a golf shot. I've got to go right over the trap. I have no green to work with at all. And now my lie is pretty filthy. Visibility, as you can probably see on the camera, is getting a little tough out here. I've got 83 yards. I'm gonna take the gap wedge actually, because I'd rather be a little long than short. And yeah, whew, wish me luck. Now I've hit 2 gap wedges so far, and both of them scooted out to the right. So I'm gonna get just a little closer in on the ball. Gotta have a good strike. It's gotta be perfect. It's gotta be perfect. I think it is perfect. Is it the number? Oh. Is it long, Pat? It's long. Darn these clubs, they're too juiced up. Well, boy, oh boy. If we finish +4 today, it was really that par 3 that killed us. But I hope you enjoyed this one, guys. Let's see if we can chip in, but that's our last hope. Oh boy. That really hit and just released. I've got to go through here. Unlikely. We're gonna try though. Let's see if this goes in. Oh my God, I'm keeping these clubs. It's either in the hole or we lose, guys. Well, that's 2 trees on this hole, guys. Hey, we didn't hit our over-under, but I had a lot of fun with these clubs. These are absolutely 100% clubs that I would play and highly, highly recommend. Hope you enjoyed this review. If you're shopping in the Mizuno family and you want to take a look at those Mizuno 223s, here's my review of them. They might just be for you as well. I'll catch you back here very soon on another edition of Let's Play Through. Thank you, Pat.
Thank you.